Hi, Ellie here with my sidekick Dabby, and it has been quite a while since I last did a video. I bought a house during COVID, so this is where I am, and there is a home library. So I'm going to show that off, and I'm super excited. Let's go inside. I might do a full house tour at some point, but for right now, I'm just gonna speed up this part. I have some pictures of friends, and you probably recognize some of these people here. Here's my library. Ah! Alright, I have my poster here that I absolutely love. That is brand new. I have my chase that I wish was more comfortable, but it is good to sit in and read for a little bit at least. I have all of my signed posters here, as well as my video equipment. And I have my bookshelves here. Okay, I'm gonna put this on the tripod and talk more about what's going on with these shelves here. Here I am in my home library. It's an actual room. Like before, when I said home library, I meant just like a wall, but it's an actual room now, and I'm super excited and I love it. I meant to do this video a while ago, but it kept getting pushed back because I just got my library fully set up. As you might recall, at my old apartment, I had two large bookshelves and a smaller bookshelf that you could kind of see in my videos. And I actually had two more shelves kind of off in the corner that were my TBR books. I've gotten rid of all of those smaller shelves or used them elsewhere in the house. And I have all of this now. I still have my two big shelves that I made a couple years ago. When I did that, I redid my library video. That is this one and this one. When I first moved in, I only had my two bookcases. I had ordered my new two at the time. They were back ordered. So I didn't even bother to unpack my boxes because I had boxes and boxes and boxes of books and only two bookcases, and I knew that they would not fit on two bookcases. So I wanted my new bookcases before I started unpacking my books. I moved in August. I ordered the books in early August. September, still no sign of the bookcases. October comes, still no sign of the bookcases. They said they would let me know when they were coming. I got them from Walmart. I'm on the Walmart site and I look up the bookcases again. Meanwhile, my roommate is like, you need to deal with your library, because it was just piles of boxes, just boxes and boxes with books and some other things in them. I need my bookcases before I can deal with those boxes. So October comes, I'm on the Walmart site. This was like a Monday, a Sunday or a Monday, and I noticed that the bookcases say if I order them now, they'll be here by Friday. And I'm like, I ordered these bookcases 2 months ago and they're still not here. So are you lying to the people who are using the site, or did you just forget about my order and you're just not gonna send them to me? So I'm like, all right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna order two more. They weren't that expensive. I'm gonna order two more. And if they tell me they're back ordered again, I'll just cancel them. And if they arrive, I'll cancel the old ones and throw a little bit of a fit, because that's ridiculous that I waited 2 months and then they had them and didn't send them to me. So I ordered the bookcases again. Not only do they arrive by Friday, they arrive on Wednesday, like 2 days after I order them. So yes, I said some not very nice things, because I'm like, you don't have somebody waiting 2 months for something that they ordered when you have it in stock. How is that good business? So that made me not want to get anything else there again. And then once I had my two, again, I realized that they were smaller than the two that I had ordered a couple years ago, so I got a third. I know because when I ordered 2 more of what I thought was the same exact shelf, they were different sizes. That was a surprise because I had measured out the room based on getting 2 more bookcases that would be these exact sizes. So I put them up and I'm like, well, these are smaller. That sucks. But then I realized that I could fit a third new one. But of course I needed to space it out like every other. So that took a lot of time to play with. And I had to get all of that set up. I had to screw them into the wall, which I was a little nervous to do, but I now have a power drill and I know how to do things like that apparently. Who knew? I did all of it by myself, by the way. My roommate helped like this tiny bit much. She was more like supervised. I built the bookcases by myself. She helped me like move them into place. I screwed them into the wall myself. And finally I was able to unpack my books and put them up. And then I needed to figure out what to do with all of my posters. And then I just got this newest one, the Once Upon a Time poster. And I literally just finally put that up today. So in a way, this is the earliest I could have done this video, but like, could I have done some of this sooner? Yes. But did I? No. And here we are. I know I've always promised a bookshelf tour. I'm gonna do somewhat of a bookshelf tour right now, but not full in depth of like what's signed and what's not, but know that like most of this is signed. Most of it. Fun fact, the reason I started getting physical books is because I was getting books on my Nook and I was reading things, but then I was going to YALLFest and BookCon and I had to buy second copies of my favorite books to get them signed. And I thought that was silly. So any author that I thought there was like a chance I would meet someday, I started getting physical books of theirs. And then I just started getting only physical books. So voila. It literally goes wall to wall. There's a teeny tiny space over there, which is perfect. The funny thing is, I have always claimed that I am not a fantasy reader. I've never considered myself a fantasy reader, and yet I needed 2 bookcases just for fantasy. There is plenty of room for more, but they did not fit on even one of the bigger cases. But the thing is, it's because they're mostly series. I get 1 book, and then I end up having to get like 7, 6, 4, 8, 14 in the series. So I do still think I read the fewest fantasy authors. It's just once I get into a fantasy author, I have to read everything. I felt a little weird putting up all of my Harry Potter stuff with what's been going on over the past couple years. I kind of made my stance. I'm not going to talk about it as much as I used to, or mostly at all, except for a conversation like this. And I'm definitely not buying anything else from that world, but I can still use the things I already own. But I'm not promoting it, and I'm not making a big deal out of that stuff. But that's all kind of here. This entire shelf is just Cassandra Clare. I used to not have that much of just hers, but now I do, and it's not even all of her books, because that one I do have a bunch of hers on my Nook from when I first started reading her that I did not put up here. But yeah, that's a lot. I have my Sarah J. Maas here. This will probably be all I have of hers, because if you've watched my last couple book talks of her books, I'm kind of not feeling it the way I used to. It's a combination of her including more things that I don't feel is necessary in her books and lacking things that I do feel are necessary. So I love the books I've read of hers. I still love these series, but she's no longer on my must read this book the moment it comes out list. Unlike some other people that are up here, I have Lunar Chronicles, Caraval, another Stephanie Garber, Lee Bardugo, although my friend still has my Six of Crows, which she's had forever. I have Saba Tahir and Children of Blood and Bone series. So the way I have most of my shelves set up is my favorites tend to be at the top, and then I like things less and less as it goes down. I'm not going to go through everything, but you can kind of see what is on various shelves. There were some where I'm like, oh, this obviously goes all the way down here, and this obviously goes all the way up here. There's some kind of like, and there are also some that like, I don't know if at this point in my life, I actually think it's as good as other books. It was such a big part of my journey of becoming a reader that I can't move it from up high. I do have some room on my fantasy for more, which is good. I can't say that for all of the shelves. Next, I have my science fiction case. I have this one organized in a different way than all of the other ones. All of the other ones within genre are organized by like my emotions about the series, how much I love them or the author, something like that. This one is actually organized more by like subgenre. Dystopian at the top, or related authors. I have a little bit of that too, but mostly dystopian at the top. Hunger Games, Divergent, Delirium, Selection series. And then it goes like more science-y as it goes. So like purely dystopian to science-y to space. So like here we have like Maze Runner, which is a little bit more science-y, to the Uglies, which is more like surgical-ish, to space, and then more like future and time travel type stuff at the bottom. It gets like more science-y as you go. And this is a funny one because I thought I read a lot of science fiction, but it is the least of all of my bookcases. Maybe I just haven't gotten into as much of that as I thought I did. Or maybe that was like a period of time in my life. Anyway, let's move on. So once again, with contemporary, I go from like my most loved books or authors and somewhat less and less as you go down. Again, there were some where I was like, this obviously needs to be at the top, and some where I'm like, this obviously needs to be on the bottom. Honestly, a lot of things on like these shelves here, or even like some of these, like, I really struggled. Every time I need to add a new book onto one of these shelves, there's like a whole thing going on in my brain where I'm like, okay, but like, I love this book so much, I can't move, like there are no books I can move off of this shelf. And then finally when I'm like, okay, I can move this, but if I move that, I also need to move these three because they're all equal. So then I'm moving whole groups at once. It's a problem. But at the top I have The Hate U Give, obviously. To All the Boys I've Loved Before, Anne and the French Kiss, Red, White, and Royal Blue, John Green, Morgan Matson, and Karen and McManus. That's like kind of my top tier up there. And then going down here, I have a lot of books that I wanted to put on the top, but were downgraded. So like all of Gail Foreman's books, Nicola Yoon, Becky Albertalli, which I think if I owned Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda in physical form, I think I would have to put that one on the top because that's one of my all-time favorite books. But because I don't own my favorite Becky Albertalli book, I put the whole thing on the next shelf. This is what was going on in my brain. I audiobooked Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda, and then I did buy it, but I gave the copy that I bought to a good friend of mine who I knew would absolutely love the book. So there's that. I literally just finished Here's to Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera, which is the sequel to What If It's Us, and it's so good, guys. If you have not read those two books yet, do it. just do it. My heart was fluttering. It was, oh, so good. Nick Stone, and then I have a whole Casey West section, which is funny because Casey West is one where for a long time I didn't actually own many of her physical books because I audiobooked all of them, because cutesy romances are like the perfect audiobook because you can just kind of listen to it and enjoy it while you're driving. You don't need to like really focus on it. But once I became obsessed with her books, I needed to get them all as they came out. So I did, and now they are here. And then again, as we go down, I really struggled with this one in particular because contemporary is my jam. It is the most fun for me to read. I love the others, but this, it just puts me in my happy place. It's also what I write. So, and it was really hard. Like, there are literally books all the way down here that I'm like, wait, but I absolutely adore that book. Like, that's less the case with these. Again, science fiction is done differently. But like with my fantasy ones, if something is that low, I'm feeling kind of about it. Not with contemporary. Like, there are even 1 or 2 books on like the very bottom that I'm like, oh, what are you doing all the way down there? Why are you with those other books that I don't care about? I'm struggling a lot with this shelf. I'm gonna show the bottom. There is very little space left on this bookcase, which is a problem because it is what I read the most of. I might need to actually be unlike myself and give some books away. I'm almost out of space. We'll see if I actually do that. Finally, I have this bookcase, which used to be on a separate couple bookcases in the other corner of my room. I didn't feel the need to show it. This is my TBR bookcase. As you can see, it is completely full. 100% completely full. It is set up kind of similarly to the others. I have my highest priority books to read at the top, and then they get kind of lower and lower priority as we go down. And I really do need to take some of those books that I felt comfortable putting like all the way at the bottom and just get rid of them. But again, some of them are signed and even personalized. That's a problem. Another problem is like, what if I think it's one I'm not interested in, but then I'm actually going to love it and I gave it away? What happens then? But I really do, because I'm never going to read all of these. I kind of want to count. Hang on. Some of those books at the bottom are actually nonfiction books that I have read for classes or something that just don't fit anywhere else because I don't really read nonfiction. So the few that I have read are just kind of like down there away from everything else. I have 123 physical books on my shelf that I have not yet read. This does not count anything I have in digital form or like books I'm going to read from the library or books that have not yet come out. I need to get rid of some of those. I am not going to read 123 books that are currently on my shelf. It's just not going to happen because I'm more likely to read the books that have not yet come out as they come out. Part of the reason that happened is I've been very bad at reading over the past 2 years. It's been taking like 2 to 3 months to get through a physical book, which is very unlike me. I've been going through audiobooks quickly. I listen to audiobooks while I do my makeup and while I drive. So I'll go through like an audiobook a week-ish. But physical books, it's been taking me several months. I've gotten a little bit better in the past few weeks. During winter break, I read 5 books, I think, 4 or 5, which was much improved. And I've read a couple books since then. So I've been doing a little bit better. Like I said, I just finished Here's to Us today, and it was adorable. Once I like got going in that one, I read it in like 3 days because it was so adorable. I loved it so much. In looking up at my top priority to read shelf, I just been in here like panicking about my contemporary bookcase, and I was like, okay, what do I read now? Can't read another contemporary. I can't, because I just struggled to place Here's to Us on the shelf. I had to move some stuff around again to make it fit. And I'm like, I can't do that again. I need to read science fiction or fantasy because I have space on those shelves. I have places I can put the books. That's what I need to do right now. So I chose The Righteous, which is the third book in the Beautiful series by Renee Ahdieh. I don't think I have a physical copy of the second one. I have the Beautiful and I have The Righteous upstairs where I'm reading it at the moment, but I don't have the second one because I audiobooked that one. I'm hoping to do more videos in the near future. I don't know if I'll be able to get back on my like weekly schedule that I was in like 4 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago. Gosh, that was forever ago. And I think I've done a total of like 2 videos in the past 2 years. So I'm averaging like a video a year right now. I'm hoping to change that, but I feel like I say that every time. Hopefully I can get some sort of regular schedule going because it would be great if I could make this part of my schedule again because I enjoy talking about books and I have this lovely physical library that I would like to use and tape in, and I worked really hard to make it look nice. And when I was looking at houses, I'm like, there needs to be a room that I can turn into a library. So I was looking for 3 bedrooms because I also wanted a roommate. Like, I want a roommate and I want a library. Dobby wants to do more videos too. He's doing great. I'm hoping to talk about some of the books that I've read over the time since I last did a video. I'll probably do one of those like books that stand out in my brain because those are the ones that are really, really worth talking about, the ones that I'm still thinking about months later. I have a couple in my head right now that I've read over the past couple years that I'm like, okay, need to talk about this, need to talk about this, need to talk about this. So that is my plan. I hope that you can see more of my library. I might do a full house tour at some point. It's not in a condition to show at this moment, but it is in much better shape than anywhere I have lived before, partly thanks to my roommate. I think that is it for now. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe by clicking up here or down below, and I will talk to you next time. Say bye, Dobby. Bye. I love my library, and I need to show it off.